welcome back to Anti-King, and welcome back to another ranking video, which seems to be a lot of what I do lately. Today I'm going to be ranking every episode of one of my favorite series, the consistently underrated Workaholics. For those of you that are unaware, Workaholics is a Comedy Central show that ran from 2011 to 2017. It follows Adam, Blake, and Durs, a group of burnout 20-somethings, trying to navigate their way through adult life. The characters are all at least kind of dumb, and they're all very into experimenting with drugs. It's pretty reminiscent of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, except instead of being like downright selfish narcissists like they sometimes are on It's Always Sunny, they're more just dumb and immature, not really aware of the problems they're causing. The three started as a sketch comedy trio known as Mail Order Comedy before being discovered by a Viacom executive and given a pilot episode, which was a huge hit and eventually spawned 7 seasons. They also just recently agreed to release a movie with Paramount Plus. So while the show might be over, I guess it's not over. Anyways, I think my favorite part of the show as a whole is just the way it shows these dudes trying to balance that awkward stage between like early adulthood and like actual adulthood. When you still want to do acid with your friends, but you have like an important meeting in the morning. I mean, who hasn't been there at some point, right? It's also a great portrayal of that friendship bond between like-minded dudes. It reminds me of my friend group around high school and makes me feel super nostalgic. Alright, so I'll start with some fun stuff about the list. And in fact, I'll go ahead and rank the seasons with a whopping 4 out of the top 5 episodes on this list. Season 3 is pretty easily the best. Not only that, but 3 of those episodes aired consecutively. The 5th episode from Season 3 is in the top 10, which makes half of the top 10 episodes from Season 3. From there, I would probably go with Season 2, which is also very prominent at the top of this list, with 3 in the top 10 and 7 in the top 20. Seasons 2 and 3 are damn near perfect for me, which I can't really say about any of the other seasons, which isn't to say they're not good. I genuinely think all 7 seasons are pretty good, but 2 and 3 are great. After that, I'd probably go with Season 1, which has some classics, but doesn't really hold up all that well. But the first 3 seasons are this series' golden age for sure, with a pretty marked change in Season 4, which I would probably have to put after Season 1. Season 4 has some outstanding bright spots, to be clear, and I still love these episodes. In fact, one of them even makes the top 5 of this list. One of them is also dead last. We'll get to that in a second. This season marks a change from the clever character interactions to a more gross out sense of humor, like the fish fight in Fry Guys, the water breaking on Adam's face in Orgasmo Birth, Carl's diaper and beer heist.
Why are you wearing a diaper? Turns out you can't trust dumpster lasagna like you used to.
This season was filled with stuff like that and would probably be my least favorite if it wasn't for some of the absolute best episodes of the series taking place within it. Season 5 would be next, but it suffers from something entirely different. The show seemed to be running out of ideas at this point, with several episodes rehashing plot points or general tones from episodes that preceded it. Still, however, some of these are fantastic, and I think it's probably the last really good season of Workaholics. And that's because 6 and 7 are pretty interchangeable for me. And while the episodes are still funny for the most part, I still get a good laugh out of watching them today. It does feel like the show was on cruise control by this point, because nothing really stands out about any of them. A lot of them are going to be pretty close to the bottom of this list. Anyway, the last half of this video, much like my South Park ranking video, go watch that if you haven't, will run a list that ranks the episodes from worst to best. And then I'll hop in to explain myself on any that I think might be deemed controversial or somehow otherwise noteworthy. So without any further ado, Brages and Bragettes, let's get weird.
Let's get weird! Let's get weird!
I'm not saying I'm pro-bullying, but
At what point does the anti-bullying campaign just start bullying the cool kids, right?
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right at the start, like I said I would, because I feel like a lot of the bigger fans of Workaholics will disagree with this. Like, certainly something from season 6 or 7 is worse than this, right? And yeah, probably, but I put Fry Guys here for a reason. While you could argue that there are some elements of it in this season's previous episode, Orgasmo Birth, this episode to me was the exact turning point where they turned away from clever character development and clever plot points in favor of just gross out humor. And that nasty ass fish fight at the end is pretty much a symbol of the whole thing to me. This is the first episode of Workaholics I ever remember turning off and being like, I didn't like that. And I guess at this point they had done like 45 episodes of just bangers, just heat. So me finding one that I didn't like really felt like, oh man, is this show over? But yeah, I kind of view this episode as that turning point, and you'll come to find pretty quickly that I'm not a fan of that turning point.
I'm fresh. Gotta be fresh. Gotta be fresh. Gotta be fresh. Fresh, fresh, fresh. Gotta be fresh. Fresh, fresh, fresh. Gotta be fresh. To rock the spot. Super J. Shot. To rock the spot.
100 bucks, man.
Don't worry. Get him. You got this. Hell yeah. No! Everybody inside! Go inside!
I'm stopping here because I'm willing to bet that this is a favorite for a lot of people, and I guess I can understand why. It has the formula for a great episode. The dudes come across some financial problems, and instead of seeking the usual financial help any normal people would, they come up with an insane and immature scheme to get money quick. That's literally the plot for some of the series' best episodes. That being said, however, this just feels like one of the worst executions of that. It's still full of laughs, but I just felt like it could have been better. Again though, I love the show and all these episodes really, so don't consider this too harsh of a criticism.
I'm fresh. Gotta be fresh. Gotta be fresh. Gotta be fresh. Fresh.
Yeah, no, I'm very religious. You know, Father, Son, Holy, what have you.
I know this one will be controversial. This was an early fan favorite, but really, in hindsight, it's not that funny. I think this episode was a product of its time and probably a lot funnier in 2013, but a lot of these jokes boil down to, haha, two dudes kissing. It still has its hilarious moments, however, and the episode certainly means well, and overall is just a big f*** you to organized religion, which I can get behind.
The flop, the splash, and the boo-hoo.
What was the flop?
Then the boohoo is just like an extra like poop afterwards or something.
Being the pilot, I'm sure a lot of people would rank this higher, but I find it pretty meh on rewatches. It's not bad by any means, we're officially in the part of this list where all of these are great. But do I think there are 36 better episodes? Absolutely. It's less an indictment on this episode and more of a sign of how strong this series is.
Shot, shot. Rock the spot. Super gay. Shot, shot. Rock the spot. Shot, shot.
That is so gross, Carl! You ruined everything!
Yeah, there's poop in his diaper.
Yeah, I pooped. All my poop came out of my diaper.
Maybe a bit of a surprise having this one so high on the list, especially considering it was one of the examples for the gross out trappings I hate so much. But it's a fun adventure episode with the usual stakes for the guys. And honestly, I think it's super slept on.
Rock the spot. Super gay. Shot, shot. Rock the spot. Super gay. Shot, shot. Rock the spot. Shot, shot. I'm first. Gotta be first.
Cause no mommy should go home and make ham sandwiches for little boys with ejaculator on their fingers.
This is the highest ranking episode from seasons 5 through 7, not including the finale. And while this episode does fall into the season 5 trapping of vaguely revisiting old plot points, it does so in a fresh and hilarious way. Between Adam's porn quest and self-realization, and Anders' vicious teardown of the Coast Guard, this episode, in my opinion, is an absolute classic.
Rock the spot. Super gay. Shot, shot. Rock the spot. Super gay. Shot, shot.
Somebody's got a micro in them.
Hey, Blake?
Fuck your speech!
You had to say micro.
This one is one of my absolute favorites, and I hated that it ended up outside of the top 10, and I feel like other fans might agree. The plot makes entirely too much sense as a figment of Blake's imagination. The Tom Green cameo is top notch, and Alice looks amazing running around in whatever this thing is. Again, any other series, this is easily top 10, maybe even top 5. But man, there are some strong episodes coming up.
Rock the spot.
This one may or may not be controversial, depending on how you felt about it. From what I can gather, opinions seem pretty mixed on the finale. I don't see a whole lot of bad opinions, but I see a lot of I don't know if maybe it was exhaustion coming off the end of a somewhat lackluster final season, but I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a clever way to portray their want to move to something more mature, and their need to be more artistically free. You can't party forever. It's one of the only, if not the only, Workaholics episode that stands to send a real message, or provoke a real feeling other than laughter, and it's done pretty damn well in my opinion.
Rock the spot. Super gay. Shot, shot. Rock the spot. Super gay. Shot, shot. Rock the spot. Shot, shot. I'm first. Gotta be first. Gotta be first.
Back. Welcome home.
All right.
Check it out, man. Almost done acid proof in the house.
Oh, you saved me a corner though, right?
Yeah, dude, we're in this together.
All right.
Ah! Fucks! Ow, man, that's not ready yet.
I wanted to stop it one more time before the reveal of number 1 to tell you that really, 1 through 4 on this list are pretty much tied. Honestly, any of these could be number 1 and I'd agree with it. Really, this is kind of 1A, B, C, and D. That being said though, when trying to rank these last 4, one just kept coming to the top. Anytime I've gone some extended period without watching Workaholics and decide, I want to jump back in, for some reason or another, this episode is always where I restart. And that's with the season 3 premiere, The Business Trip. This is Workaholics firing on all cylinders. The trippy visual language, the tasty needle drops, Durs trying to be the mature one in a group of children, Alice on acid, god titties. I could go on forever about why this is my favorite episode. But a lot like with my South Park ranking video, when it came down to it, it's because this one to me is the best representation of everything Workaholics does well.
That's fine. I get that, but you're wrong and I hate you.
Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. A crazy percentage of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. Like legit, like 97%, something like that. Just takes a second, bud. Please go click the little button, turn on the little bell, make me feel good. Next week, I am doing my first horror you probably slept on since I think October, maybe even late September, with the amazing Christmas-themed Better Watch Out. I'm also going to do a video where I rank all the South Park Christmas episodes. I'm going to try to have that one out like right before Christmas. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and until next time, stay safe.
Just keep being yourself, stud muffin.
That's horrible advice. Most people don't like me, actually.